In addition to there being just two kinds of mental objects, ideas and impressions, Hume argues that there are three principles of connection between ideas: resemblance, contiguity, and cause and effect. That is, any two ideas, if they are connected together, can be described as some combination of these three principles. Hume discusses how a painting leads our thoughts to the original object, which is resemblance, how mentioning an apartment in a building naturally leads one to think of the others, which is contiguity, and how when we think of a wound, we naturally think of the pain that results. This is cause and effect. All connections of ideas can be reduced to at least one of these three. When we begin to think of human investigation, such as what occurs in philosophy and science, there are only two proper objects for Hume: relations of ideas and matters of fact. Relations of ideas have to do with those ideas that are not derived from external impressions, but internal only. These include geometrical and arithmetic truths, and other truths that are certainly necessarily true. Investigating these requires only having before the mind the ideas themselves. Those truths dealt with resulting from relations of ideas will, if true, be necessarily true. That is, it would be impossible for the negation of the proposition ever to be true. An example of this that Hume uses is the Pythagorean theorem, which says that the square of a hypotenuse of a right angle is equal to the sum of the squares of the two remaining sides. Matters of fact, however, are contingent. There is no absurdity involved in supposing a matter of fact not to be true. Even something like the proposition, "the sun will rise tomorrow," as certain as it is, could be false without fear of contradiction. The sun might not rise tomorrow. Now, when it comes to knowing matters of fact, the relevant principle of connection for Hume, or that Hume argues, would be cause and effect. On grasping what is occurring around us in the world centers, Hume argues, on knowing what is cause, what effect, and how the two relate to one another. He then writes, "If we would satisfy ourselves, therefore, concerning the nature of that evidence which assures us of matters of fact, we must inquire how we arrive at the knowledge of cause and effect." This will lead us to his first skeptical argument that we'll look at in the next podcast.